Hello, friends. My name is Dr. Bruce. I am the paranormal professor, and I'm going to read a story for you today from my new book, Timeless, A Paranormal Personal History, with illustrations by my friend Gary Dumm, who was the primary illustrator for Harvey Pekar and American Splendor. He's a very talented artist. The story I'm going to read this today is Let's Do Lunch. Also, I want to remind you that if you go to bruceolavsolheim.com, that's my first name Bruce, middle name Olav, last name Solheim.com, bruceolavsolheim.com. You can find out other things that I've written and a bio about me, and also the services that I can offer as a psychic medium. So if that's something that you're interested in. Anyway, I'm going to read the story called Let's Do Lunch. So, I know it seems strange and maybe even a little creepy that an 8-year-old boy would like to hang around graveyards. But I love visiting Abbey View Cemetery near my home in Kenmore, Washington. The cemetery was a little more than a mile from my house. I even got my friend Tommy interested, and we would go together. His brother Johnny refused. We would pack our lunches and ride our bikes up to the cemetery. There was a tall statue of Jesus that would greet us as we rode up the driveway to the headstones. Sometimes, Tommy would feel uncomfortable about being in the graveyard. "Are you sure we should be here?" he asked. "Yeah, why not?" I said. "I don't know, it seems weird," he said. "They have these graveyards so folks will visit," I explained. "Yeah, but would Jesus like it, that we're here?" he asked with some apprehension as he looked at the giant sad-faced statue of Jesus. "Oh, sure, he loves it. He'll protect us, especially since we're usually the only ones here," I answered assuredly. "Nobody else is here because they're smart," said Tommy, who was Catholic and crossed himself just for good measure. "Hey, do you remember the song?" I asked. "What song?" asked Tommy. "You know, the one we always sing when we see a funeral go by and we're outside playing in your yard," I said. "Oh, never laugh when a hearse goes by," I sang. "Stop it, that's bad luck," said Tommy. "Or you will be the next to die," I continued, then laughed. "You're just mean," said Tommy. In the summer, we'd ride up to Abbey View Cemetery for lunch at least once a week. We found soldier graves and old headstones, too. We liked hanging out in the oldest, scariest part of the graveyard. "Aren't you afraid?" asked Tommy as he adjusted his taped black horn-rimmed glasses. "Nah, I like it here. It's peaceful," I said. "What about ghosts?" asked Tommy nervously. "Only at night, I think," I said. I enjoyed eating lunch at Abbey View. I loved the place and quiet. It was quiet and we sat beneath the trees by the headstones. I felt comfortable. And I thought it was a good place to think. One summer day, after riding our bikes throughout the late afternoon and early evening, we decided to explore the area around the mortuary office building on the other side of the street from the cemetery. My brother Alf said that there was a lake below the mortuary that he and his friends had explored. The mortuary building was where they did the cremations, and morticians and gravediggers had their main office. We rode our bikes down the dirt road along the back of the building, through the forest, and headed toward the lake. As it turned out, it was more than a pond. It was more of a pond than a lake. But it was a big pond. There were tall trees and creeping ivy all around the perimeter of the pond, standing like silent, spooky sentinels. We also saw thousands of lily pads and green stuff floating on the water. We decided to call it the swamp pond. There was a mist starting to rise from the swamp pond as the sun was starting to go down, and the tall trees already blocked the light. By the near shore, there were large cement crypts stacked here and there. Some of the crypts were overgrown with blackberry bushes. We decided we could hear the sounds of the crickets and an occasional bullfrog. "Looks like this is where the creature from the Black Lagoon would live," I said. Tommy was already scared and didn't appreciate my humor. "Stop it, we got to get out of here," he yelled. "Let's look around some more," I said. Tommy stayed with me, probably because he didn't want to ride back up the dirt road through the darkening forest by himself. We looked at the crypts more closely and found some old beer bottles broken inside of them. Probably the bad boys and girls were here, I said. Yeah, maybe, said Tommy, nervously looking around. That looks like a bloody handprint on this one, I said. No, it's not, said Tommy, as I laughed. Then the crickets stopped chirping and the bullfrogs stopped croaking, and there was an odd noise coming from the other side of the swamp pond. What's that? Said Tommy. I don't know, I answered. Whatever it is, it's pretty big. Okay, we've looked around enough. Let's go. It's getting dark, said Tommy. The mist was getting denser and rising up from the surface of the swamp pond, giving off a spooky aura. Then, the sound of something crashing through the bushes on the other side of the swamp pond echoed across the murky water. Tommy hopped on his bike and took off like a shot. Let's get the hell out of here, he yelled over his shoulder. Wait, I said. My chain had come off, and as I started to pedal my bike, the crashing noise was getting closer, like the sound of snapping branches and twigs and heavy footsteps everywhere. We could see the bushes moving violently as the sound came even closer to us. Tommy had stopped to look back. It's some kind of creature. Come on, are you crazy? He asked. My chain fell off, I yelled. I was panicking, but finally I got the chain back on the main gear. The creature was now on our side of the lake and closing in on us. We could hear the grunting and snarling noises along with the heavy footsteps and sound of branches snapping under its weight. Oh my God, screamed Tommy as he pedaled as fast as he could to get away. I pedaled as if my life depended on it, because it probably did. I looked back over my shoulder to see if the creature was coming for us. The mist had taken over the shore of the swamp pond and was moving up over the crypts. The sound had stopped. I could see a shadowy figure standing near the crypts in the mist, but couldn't make out any features. Whatever it was, it stood on two legs. We pedaled up to the main road and didn't stop or look back until we were home. Tommy was out of breath, and so was I when we got to the house. What was that thing? He asked. I don't know, but I'm never going down to the swamp pond anymore, I answered. Or the graveyard, Tommy added. I never got Tommy to go back with me to the cemetery, but I did go there a few more times by myself. After the incident with the swamp pond creature, I didn't feel as comfortable and peaceful when I sat by myself eating lunch at Abbey View. One day, as I sat there by myself, I looked over to the giant statue of Jesus. Maybe he had some answers, I thought. He stood there in sad-faced silence, his right arm by his side, and the left arm raised with his hand and index finger pointing towards the swamp pond. I hadn't noticed that before, and it gave me a jolt. Was he acknowledging the creature and warning me? I never returned to the swamp pond. Here's the illustration that Gary Dunn did. Cool illustration. Anyway, so that is one of the 34 stories in Timeless, A Paranormal Personal History, available on Amazon.com. And so please check that out. And also contact me if you would like any kind of readings. I can give it insights onto your life, your career, relationships, and my real specialty is contacting those who are deceased. So if you have deceased relatives that you'd like to get in touch with, let me know. I am the Dr. Bruce, the paranormal professor, www.bruceolavsolheim.com. Thank you.